From epic storylines to enormous battle scenes, here's how Joaquin Phoenix convinced Ridley Scott to rewrite the Napoleon script. Ridley Scott, the famous director behind Alien, is working on a new film called Napoleon. And let me tell you, the filming process has been anything but easy. According to Scott, working with method actor Joaquin Phoenix has been a challenge. But let's be real. Anyone who's seen Joaquin in action knows that he takes his craft seriously. So it's no surprise that he's been causing a bit of a stir on set. Scott and Phoenix go way back. They worked together on The Gladiator, which was a massive success. Both of these guys know how to make a great movie. Joaquin's latest role in Joker was so good that it left audiences both cheering and shaking in their boots. And let's not forget about Scott's recent portrayal of the Gucci family. It was epic. But now, these two powerhouses are teaming up again for Napoleon, a period piece about the famous ruler. And while it hasn't been easy, I have a feeling this movie's gonna be one for the books. Remember when Ridley Scott announced his new project Kit Bag back in 2020? Well, it turns out that the movie has undergone some changes, and it's now called Napoleon. But that's not all. The movie has also found a new home at Apple Studios. Seems Apple has a thing for epic period pieces. Shooting took place in filming in Lincoln, England back in March of 2022, and we can't wait to see what Scott and his team came up with. The film's original title, Kit Bag, was derived from the saying, "There's a general staff hidden in every soldier's kit bag." And who better to play the French general and Emperor of France than Joaquin Phoenix? Sounds like a real charmer, huh? Napoleon's coming back, and let's just be glad we're watching it play out on the big screen instead of living through it ourselves. So we already know who's starring in the film and who's directing it. But what about the rest of the cast? Well, apparently, Jodie Comer was Scott's first choice to play Empress Josephine. And can you blame him? Comer's a powerhouse actress. She was reportedly in negotiations to star in the movie back in March of 2021, and by September, she had confirmed her casting. But unfortunately, in January of 2022, she dropped out due to scheduling conflicts caused by the pandemic. And Vanessa Kirby has stepped in to take her place. Other cast members include Joseph Kirkor, who was confirmed to star in the movie back in November. And in February, Tahar Rahim was added to the cast. Looks like Scott's assembled an impressive team of actors for this one. According to Comer, playing Josephine was a huge challenge, but she was excited to take it on. She said that she loves the transformation that comes with period dramas, and that it's easier to step out of yourself and into somebody else when you're wearing the right costumes and hair. We totally get it, Jodie. Sometimes you just need to put on a fancy dress and wig to feel like a whole new person. And apparently, Joaquin Phoenix is quite the diva on set, but in a good way. He's never afraid to speak up and share his thoughts, even if it means completely overhauling the script. The movie's screenplay was written by David Scarpa, who also wrote the screenplay for another movie directed by Ridley Scott titled All the Money in the World. According to Ridley Scott, he rewrote the entire script of Napoleon based on notes from Phoenix. I guess when you're working with a guy like Joaquin, you have to be prepared for anything. Scott had nothing but praise for Phoenix, saying that he's far from conventional, and that his intuition is what makes him such a great actor. If something bothers him, he'll let you know. According to director Ridley Scott, Phoenix's interpretation of the character was so unique and thought-provoking that it prompted a significant retooling of the film. In an interview with Empire, Scott discussed how Phoenix's script notes and questions about the character Napoleon were incredibly helpful. Rather than just going through the motions, Phoenix constantly pushed the boundaries and explored new territory with the character. Scott said that the actor's probing often led to major changes in the film's direction, forcing the director to re-examine his assumptions and make adjustments as needed. But far from being a hindrance, Scott said that Phoenix's approach was incredibly constructive and ultimately made the film better. The director noted that with Joaquin, they could rewrite the entire film because the actor was constantly pushing the envelope and questioning everything. This willingness to experiment and explore new ideas led to a richer, more complex portrayal of Napoleon. One that truly brought the character to life on the screen. But hey, when you've got a talent like Phoenix on your hands, you've got to do what it takes to make the movie work. And you know what? It seems like all that rewriting paid off. Scott said that the notes from Phoenix were incredibly constructive and helped the film grow bigger and better. I guess sometimes a little bit of discomfort can lead to great things. It looks like Napoleon's gonna be action-packed. According to reports, the film will feature 6 major battle sequences. That's a lot of battles. It's definitely not gonna be another Waterloo filmed back in 1970, which only focused on a single battle. During filming, the movie was referred to as Marengo, which is a reference to the Battle of Marengo from 1800. But while shooting Ridley Scott's Napoleon, the crew reportedly spent a week getting the Lincoln Cathedral ready for shooting. The cathedral stood in for Notre Dame de Paris, so it had to look just right. Filming in the cathedral took place over 2 days in mid-March, and they worked pretty long hours, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But that's not all. Filming also took place at several other locations throughout England, including Stowe Avenue, and houses in Buckinghamshire, Blenheim Palace in Woodstock, Oxfordshire, West Wickham Park, again in Buckinghamshire, Pentworth House in Sussex, and Boughton House in Kettering. And get this, they were also set to shoot in Malta for 3 weeks in May of 2022. Fort Ricasoli in Calcara, Malta was transformed into the site of the 1793 siege of Toulon, where Napoleon had his first victory. We can only imagine what kind of epic battle scenes were filmed there. So it's safe to say Scott and his team went all out to make this movie as grand and epic as possible. I can't wait to see the finished product. But what led the director to be so interested in the project in the first place? He was definitely interested in the project, but working with Phoenix was definitely a perk, especially when it came to writing. In the end, the collaboration between Scott and Phoenix was a powerful example of the creative process at its best. By working together and being willing to take risks, the two were able to create something truly special and unique. And while the final product may have been very different from what was originally envisioned, it was all the more powerful and compelling because of Phoenix's contributions. And the man conquered the world! What could be more interesting than that? But here's the thing. Scott and Phoenix worked together to figure out who Napoleon really was on the inside. And let's be real, if anyone can get to the heart of a character, it's these two. They're the dream team of movie making. The result will be a story about love and conquering the world. I mean, what else could you want in a movie? And while there's no specific release date yet, we do know the movie's coming out sometime in 2023 on Apple TV+. Get ready, folks, because Napoleon's about to take the world by storm. And who knows, maybe we'll even see Joaquin and Ridley team up again for another epic period piece. One can only hope. So from epic storylines to enormous battle scenes, that's how Joaquin Phoenix convinced Ridley Scott to rewrite the Napoleon script.